Hello and welcome to Retro Cars Reborn. I am Lee, and in today's episode we are going to be fitting these. Well, I say these, just this one. But it's going to make such a difference to the 205 overall. So let's get on with it. So there's still a lot of it that's rusty as anything. Where the axle was, and if we move the light here, look, I treated all this and it's just gone rusty still. So going to hit that with the Halfords weld through primer, because apparently that's practically waterproof. So I'm just going to rub this all down, attack it with a wire brush, and we'll see what's left. So while I've been cleaning up all of the floor, look what we found. A lovely hole. Nice. So I've got a strengthening piece to repair now as well. This is the rusty bit that needs repairing from the other side. The bracket for the brakes, the screws rounded off, so that is now becoming a new problem. But most of the floor underneath here now has been cleaned back, and I've red oxide primered it. It's just a couple of areas that need more work. As you can see, there's still rusty bits that need more work, that need rubbing back some more. So yeah, we are motoring on. I've done quite a bit in there as well. It's just that wants taking back to metal. That just wants more work on it now. Proper flap disc on it to take it back. It's all looking good. So yes, I was underneath there, as you just saw a minute ago, and it was getting so dirty I couldn't breathe, and I was getting a little bit claustrophobic, so I decided to make myself a little bit more space by chucking one of the doors on. I was going to chuck this door on as well, but there's not really enough room to have it fully open in order to actually slot the door on properly. But the passenger side door, there's plenty of room. Just stack some toolboxes up and you've got basically something to hold the door. But yeah, I told you I'd chuck the doors on and they're still fitted, but you've never seen them with the doors put back on. But yes, obviously the gaps want drastically looking at. Too much at the bottom, too much at the top. Obviously it wants fiddling at the front. But yes, it certainly looks good. Especially to see this line all the way back. And they literally transition. You're not hitting the door first, you're not hitting that first. It's all good. So yes, the cage that I built did its job perfectly while it had sills and rear quarters put on it, and any other repairs that it needed at the time. So yes, let's do some tidying up under here, because that's all the dust and disgusting shite that you don't be breathing in. Do some cleaning and then I'm going to get back underneath there. So I ground back all of the rust. There we go, you can see. And I've just K-rusted anywhere that particularly still had bubblings of rust still appearing. So that should take care of, you know, the pitting that you couldn't get out. and then we shall red oxide prime it, and then we shall spray it with the Halford spray as well, the weld through primer, because it's really good at keeping the rust out. See, that's what it looks like. I've missed a bit there, look. Seeing that seam, it's been taken back, and it just, you just can't get anything in there to take that little bit of rust out. So we'll get some K-rust in there. I mean, the whole car will be sealed anyway, like it was at the factory, and I'll probably do a little bit overboard as well. But yeah, we're a little bit closer to dealing with this hole that I found up here. Ta-da! And welding this bit of the chassis together. Got the bracket off in the end. I had to literally heat it up with a blowtorch just for it to move, and it's now stuck in this nice little 10mm. Probably going to remain in there forever, and obviously now this is hot as fork. Right then, so while where that 10mm was is drying, because I've put a load of K-rust around it, let's get round to fitting this bad boy. So the first thing I've done is come round to the other side to find out how it's fitted. So I've removed some of the seam sealer here, which shows there is a gap between that piece of inner shield and this outer rear quarter, and that this one's bent inwards slightly, and also these two tabs here have got a single spot weld holding them together. So yes, some useful information. So I've got this one wedged in there just to see how it fits, and so far it fits awful, absolutely awful. There's how big that gap is. Now it shouldn't be that big, that bit should be level with that. So this needs pushing up and clamping back in. And the other thing is as well, is that needs spot welding together. But I think it can be, see, I think they left it unspot welded, so that when you get it into the place it needs to be, you then spot weld it together. But yes, it just seems to be pushing all this rear quarter out. And though it is higher here and lower here, it actually slopes backwards like that. So yes, I'll do some more working on it to see if we can get it to fit a lot better. You see, it slopes up this side. So let's go, I'm going to go have a look at the other side again just to make sure. Well, it took some modifying. I had to close some of the gaps up that the guys who made it, you know, when they folded the metal, I had to close some of the gaps up in the corners in order for it to fit in there perfectly. But I can't say it's the part's fault, because all this has been rebuilt by me and by another body shop when it first ever had its accident in this corner. So I can't say, you know, that it's all 100% perfect, but I have had the tape measure out and I've measured it from the inner well to the outer arch, and it's the same this side as it is that side, as well as where this is on the original one, again to the inner arch, and it is the same. So it's all matching up to the other side. So now it's just a case of cleaning all the surfaces up, cracking the spot welder out and spot welding around it and getting it all in place. So let's get on with it. So all the metal is now nice and clean. There's a little bit there, but that needs to be done manually. And the inside has been cleaned up. So now we can slot this bad boy up in there and spot weld it in. So we got this bit nicely spot welded in. All that's left is to weld it in here. This needs to be lifted up slightly there. No, it is perfectly running across it. Yeah, so literally just got to plug weld these holes up that I put in, and that is fitted. Yes, and that's why I love the spot welder so much, because it's literally just make sure it's in perfect alignment how you want it, hold it in place in a couple of different places, and then spot weld the baby in, and it looks absolutely perfection. So yeah, let's weld that in, and then we should be able to tackle, like I've been saying for the last 2 episodes, this chassis rail. Yes, does look good. Me likey. As my manual spot welds go, I didn't think those two turned out bad at all. In hindsight, shouldn't have put a hole there, because that's where a ginormous gap is that gets filled with seam sealer. So, you know, that's going to have to get filled with seam sealer anyway. I am also not going to grind these back, because this entire area gets filled with seam sealer to the point where it practically becomes flush with the car. But yeah, I'm happy with the results on that. So now let's weld up the hole that you cannot see. So I finished getting the welding in there, and I have ground it back. I'm not ground it fully flush because there is no real point in here, and I'd like as much strength to remain in there as possible. So that is this piece of this chassis leg finally finished. So there's this hole to do. There's that rot there to do. There's some rot all here to sort out. There might be some across there. We'll see how pitted it is. So that's it. There we go. The chassis rail is finally done and finished. So it took what? a year since I did that bit. It can't have been that long, but it did take a long time to get round to that bit. So we've got bracket in, that bit in, we're all done. So all those other pieces of rot we'll assess in the next episode. So I've been Lee. This has been Retro Cars Reborn. Remember, climate change is a load of bollocks, and electric cars are shit.